Hi and welcome to Skein Studio. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Ravelry as K10, that's K10, and Skein Yarn on Instagram. I am on Facebook, but I don't go there that often, so if you're wanting to look out for me, it's Ravelry or Instagram. Today is Saturday, I think it's the 11th of Feb, yep, 11th of Feb. And yeah, everything's great. It's very hot. I actually have set up a fan just next to me, so hopefully you won't hear it. It's a pretty quiet one. The weather's still extremely hot. I keep forgetting to say I'm podcasting from Coffs Harbour, New South Wales, Australia. And yes, the weather is still extremely hot. We're still in a bit of a heat wave here. It's meant to get up to 40, I think today or tomorrow, but yes, it's very hot still. It's in the morning, it's only just past 10 o'clock, so yes, I am wearing beach clothes because it's just too hot to wear anything else. Hoping as soon as I finish the podcast and my hubby gets back from his ride, he goes out on his motorbike for a little ride. Hopefully when he gets back we'll be going to the beach to cool off. Yeah, so show notes for this episode can be found on the website at skeinyarn.com. I link everything that I talk about. What else was I meant to mention? Oh, and if you want to contact me, you can PM me on Ravelry, but the best way to contact me is via email, which is hello@skeinyarn.com, or if you go to the website skeinyarn.com, if you go all the way down to the bottom of the page, there's a contact link. Just click on that and use the contact page, because yes, I may not see it on Ravelry and Instagram. I see messages, but if you're not a friend, or if I'm not following you, it doesn't come up. So yeah, best way to contact me is via email. So yeah, hi to everybody, hi to anybody who's new, who's watching. Yeah, let's get into it. So I finished my baby blanket, which is behind me. It's so lovely. I put an Instagram post up saying that I had finished it, and then I was like, do I really want to give this away? But I will. Actually, I won't pull it up, but that's it. It's huge. Looks so nice in my lounge room too. It's like really nice and colourful and bright. So I am going to give this away still, and then I'm going to go and buy some more yarn and make another one. I wasn't quite sure of these three colours, the maroon and the red and the green. So when I make one for me or for the house, I'm going to swap these colours out and get a few other brighter ones, or I'll just repeat a few of these ones that I've got, because our house at the moment is really quite bright. I've got really bright pillows and it's a really light lounge room, so I like the white walls and lots of colour. So yeah, this is the pattern I got from Attic 24, Lucy of Attic 24, which is the granny stripe blanket, which a lot of people are using this pattern for their crocheted soft blankets. And it's just such a great pattern, very easy. It's just striping back and forth, and when you get into the flow of it, it's just so nice. Like, I could crochet on that forever. And because it's a DK yarn, it went really quickly. I started this in, when was it? I think it was June, July last year. And I got pretty much all of it done within a month or two, and then I put it down for a while, and it wasn't until recently that I picked it up and I crocheted the rest of it. But yes, it just went really quick. I know a few people crochet a border, but I didn't worry about it. The edges are quite neat. I had a million and one ends to weave in, and if I ever did this again, which obviously I'm going to do it again, I'm going to crochet the threads in as I go, because yeah, it took forever. And I actually don't mind weaving in ends. I'm quite happy to sit here and watch TV and or a podcast and just weave it in. It doesn't really bother me, but when there's a lot, it can, yeah, get a bit boring. But the yarn that I used is 4 Seasons Superwash Merino. It's just a cheapy yarn that I got from Spotlight, and yeah, I mean, it's great. It's soft and it's crocheted up really nicely, and the colours are nice and bright, so yeah. So that's the baby blanket, the Lucy of Attic 24 Granny Stripe blanket. Works in progress. I started last week the Snow Melt Mystery Knit Along by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and there's lots of people doing this. I am going to show you, so if you don't want spoilers, I've only done clue 1. If you don't want a spoiler, then look away. So this is it. It's lovely. So it's going to be a semicircular shape, and it's just been a joy to knit on. Okay, so what can I say? It's always hard to choose colours when it's a mystery knit along, because you're not quite sure, of course, you know, what the shawl's going to look like and colour placement. But Helen did leave a few clues on her pattern page and also on her podcast, and she did say to leave, like, the first colour that you use, colour A, is going to be the main colour throughout the pattern, and it's going to be the lacy part. So if you don't want really highly variegated yarn in the lace, to maybe swap that around with another colour. So this is colour A. That's Milky Way. It's a skein yarn. All the yarn that I'm using is skein yarn, and it's top draw sock. So it's nice because it's contrasting well with the other 2 colours. But the other 2 colours that I have, this one's B, and it's called Grunge Rainbow, and it's just lots of colour, bright colour with a little pop of black. And then this one's C, which is Surfer Girl, and it's pinks and sort of teals and blues. But when these are knit up together, they're very similar. So you can't really tell the difference when you look at it between that one there and this one at the top. So from what I can read in clue 2, you mainly use B and C, so these 2 together. So it'd be interesting to see how they knit up. I'm not going to swap my colours around. I know a few people are thinking of swapping colours. Actually, we spoke about this in the knit group yesterday. Met up with the knit group at the cafe, and we're all knitting the shawl. And yeah, there's a couple of women who wanted to swap around colours. But yeah, I'm just going to leave mine and see what happens. I'm really enjoying it. It's so easy. The increases are made, it's sort of like a circular yoke. If you've ever knit a circular yoke cardigan or pullover, you don't do increases every round like you do with a raglan. It's every 4 rounds, but you can sort of group them all together. So if you do 8 rows, it's every 4th row you do an increase. So if you've got 8 rows, then you double it, if that makes sense. So this is what Helen's done. So you're not increasing every round, you're increasing where the eyelets are. So you just do a yarn over and knit, yarn over knit, and it has the increase. So that's why you get the sort of semicircular shape. And the other thing I really like about this design, which I like every shawl that I've done this, I really like it, is the I-cord edge. Sorry, my brain's not working. I think it's the heat. Yeah, so the I-cord edge, it's lovely. Nice and neat. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The pattern calls for I think it's 4mm needle. I'm not quite sure what that is in US. But I like my shawls to be really dense. I know a lot of people, it's sort of, some people like it denser, some people like it looser. So I always go down a needle size or half a needle size. So I'm knitting mine on 3.5s and I'm really enjoying the texture that I'm getting. It has a really nice feel. So yeah, that's that. And that's The Snow Melt by Helen Stewart. What I'm also working on is a new shawl that I'm designing. Oops, I've got like massive tangles. So this is it here. I showed you this last time. I think I hadn't got very far, but I'm knitting it on, I think it's like 80cm cord circs, but it's sort of bunching up. It's looking a bit crazy at the moment. But yes, basically it's going to be a very elongated crescent shape. I have lots of stitches on the needle at the moment, so it's going to be really, really long. And basically it's just a mixture of garter stitch, short row stripes and lace. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Almost finished. I'm going to do one more repeat of the short row stripes. Then I'm going to do a shorter section of the lace, and then I'm going to bind off in this jersey colour. So this colour here is called OMG, and then the grey is jersey, and the yarn is Skein Top Drawer. I have small amounts left, so I might be playing a bit of yarn chicken with this. It's funny, I used to use my yarn, I used to use the centre pull method with the yarn, where you pull the centre thread and you feed the yarn out through the centre, which is great because it stops your yarn from rolling around the floor. But I just got really sick of having to untangle knots and having that yarn bath problem where you just have like a lot of yarn that just comes out in clumps. So I've swapped recently to pulling from the outside, and seriously, it's so much easier. I like it a lot better, and I don't think I'll ever go back to pulling yarn out from the centre. But in saying that, I'm so used to pulling it out of the centre that I can kind of eyeball what I have left and know roughly how much yarn I have left, whereas I'm not used to using it this way. So I look at that and I think that there's not much yarn in there, but in actual fact I got my scales out because I sort of thought, oh god, I've got another lace section to go with the shawl, I'm going to run out of yarn. But this is actually around 40 grams, so that's pretty good. I've still got quite a lot left. And also another beauty of pulling from the outside is that when you do have a bit of leftover yarn, it's nice and neat. So you can just put that in a basket or a bag and use it for scraps. Whereas when you pull from the inside, you have like this really loose hank of yarn left over, and you usually have to hand wind or wind it again. So yeah, it's just my preference. But yes, hopefully I'll have enough yarn left over. I don't know what I'm going to do if I do run out of yarn. I'll have to think up something, but I think I should be alright. So that's that. What else? Oh, God, hang on, I'm really tangled here. So I was going through my stash about a week ago, or maybe, no, it was longer than that, about 2 weeks ago. and I was just looking at what sort of sock yarn I had in there because I was dying to cast on for a pair of socks. And I came across a skein of yarn that I had been hoarding for a very long time, which is Gail's Art, Graffiti and Asphalt. And this is Gail's yarn Wonder Sock, and it's a BFL yarn, and it's gorgeous. So that's the colour. It's dark undertones with bright pops, so you've got bright pinks and oranges and yellows, and it's just gorgeous. So I think I saw this first, like I bought this years ago, and I'm pretty sure I found out about it on the Knit Girls podcast, and they were raving about it, and then it became really popular, this colourway. And there was another one which was a green one, which I have as well, but I can't remember the name of it. So yes, everybody wanted it, and it was really hard to get. Anyway, I did actually score both of them, and they've been in my stash for a very long time. So anyway, I decided I wanted to knit with it, and I cast on a pair of monkey socks. So this is, I'm sure everybody knows monkey socks. This is the Cookie A pattern, and it's a lace pattern, which is great. It's a simple lace pattern that kind of moves the fabric around, so it's really good for variegated yarn. Sort of shifts colour. It looks really nice in plain yarn as well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not sure if that's showing up very well. So I cast this on, and I did the cuff while I was watching TV, and then I took the socks to the knit group yesterday, and it was the worst thing I could have taken. I don't really find the pattern very intuitive, maybe as I go along, but I did knit a pair of monkey socks a while ago, but I think I finished one, but then I started the second one and I put it down and I haven't finished it. And the reason for that was that I did actually find, as much as I absolutely love the pattern and I love the look of it, I didn't find it easy to memorize. And I do like challenging projects, but when I'm sitting down at night knitting like in front of the TV, I do like to zone out and just kind of knit. And things that do take me a while to sort of memorize, or if it's a difficult pattern, I do tend to sort of put it down and forget about it. But I'm going to continue on with this. Hopefully it'll just lightning bolt, or what do you call it? A light globe will go off in my head, and I'll like pick the lace pattern up. But yeah, I'm usually pretty good at reading my lace and looking at the row above and thinking, okay, well, I've got to do this, this and this, but for some reason I just can't do it. So yesterday at knitting group, I was kind of heads down and concentrating, and then when talking to someone or listening to what someone was saying, then I'd look up, oh yes, and I'd look down and go, oh my god, where was I? But anyway, I do use a really good app, which is the Knit Companion. It is called Knit Companion, isn't it? Come on. Pretty sure it's Knit Companion. Yes, Knit Companion app, which I bought years ago when it was just one price. Now it's a subscription, but it is such a good app, and all of my charts and everything, like you can upload a pattern from Ravelry. I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this before, but you can upload a pattern from Ravelry and cut out the software lets you, or the app lets you cut out the chart and then put it into a trackable chart, so that you have like a little bar that goes across and it blows the chart up, so you can sit there with your iPad or your phone, propped up, and you can just follow your charts like on the app. It's such a good app. I absolutely love it. So yes, that's my monkey socks. Really enjoying it. And I love the feel of this yarn. BFL can be a little bit, what's the word? Toothy and a bit kind of woolly and prickly. But this is really nice, and I can tell that it's going to wear really well. So that's the monkey socks by Cookie A, and it's with the Gales Art yarn, Wonder Sock. Now, what else? Oh, after I finished this blanket, I ended up finding some scrap yarn and casting on for the sock blanket. And I've just started, like, this is it. It's just the very beginning. I did the chain, and then I think it's double crochet into the chain. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. And I was listening to, or I was watching Vine podcast, and she said that she had heard from somebody else that the way to measure the blanket size is to put it, like, stretch it over whatever you want to size it as. So, like, I want this to be the width of our queen size bed. So I just chained a length, and then I went and measured it, and yeah, so this will be a queen size bed size or thereabouts. And yeah, so it's going to be huge, but yeah, it's just the very beginning. I do have, over on the Ravelry group, I meant to mention that in the intro, we do have a Ravelry group, Skein Yarn. Oh, actually no, it's just called Skein on Ravelry, and it can be a little bit hard to find, because if you just type in Skein in the groups, like, millions of groups come up. But you've got to scroll down and you'll find us. But yeah, I've opened up a thread there for crochet blankets, and for people to post their crochet blankets. But I thought what would be fun, and actually I have had a few people ask whether we could do this, is have a little crochet along. Not have any prizes or anything, just a fun sort of, you know, crochet along. It doesn't matter if you've already started. There's no start date, there's no finish date. Even if you're just about ready to cast off, you can join in. I just want to, yeah, I want to see what you're crocheting. I want to see your crochet blankets. And I know a lot of people really love them and love to see other people's blankets. So yeah, come on over to the group and join in. And if you haven't cast one on but you've been thinking about it, then do it. What else? Oh, and the last thing I've started is a new cowl, and it's a new pattern. I just wanted to do something sort of spring-like, because I've already done a cowl for winter, people who are going into winter. So it's weird being in the southern hemisphere, because you know, we're always on the opposite season to what's happening in the knitwear world. So, you know, these lovely jumpers and things are coming out, and you know, we're in the middle of summer, so it's kind of, it's always a bit weird. And then when you're designing your or wanting to put out a pattern, it's hard, because do you keep up with what the rest of the world is doing? Do you put out a winter pattern when you're in summer, or do you stick with the hemisphere that you're in? Anyway, so I have got a very chunky cowl that I've designed. It's really easy, it's just going to be a free pattern. And then I thought, well, it'd be fun if I put out something that's lighter, so, you know, people in the southern hemisphere who are heading into autumn, who don't want anything too thick, can cast on and wear. Or people who are in the northern hemisphere who are heading into spring can wear the fingering weight one, and then us who are going into winter can wear the thicker weight one. Anyway, so this is it. It's very simple. I'm using an MCN sock base, which is our MCN sock, Skein, and it's this colour here, which I really love knitting. I'm not usually a blue person, but this is kind of greeny blue really. It's sort of like a sea green, very light sea green. This is Ice on the Window pane, and I'm just loving how it's knitting up. And then I've contrasted this with Citron, which is this colour. It's lovely kind of greeny yellow. And it's just a basic shorter cowl. And it's got stripes. I was going to do like a chevron pattern. I don't know if you can see, but I decided against it. I'm doing like a very, very basic ferrule. You probably can't really see that yet. I've only just started the ferrule pattern. And yeah, it's coming along. See how it goes. So this will be another free pattern as well. So I'll release them both at the same time when I finish. I'm thinking it's going to be probably quite a long cowl because it's such a fine yarn. It's not going to bunch up too much. So yeah, it'll be quite a long sort of cowl, which will, yeah, hopefully drape nicely. And that's that. That's everything that I've been working on. So lots of stuff. Okay, I did get something in the mail this week. So I saw this on the Grocery Girls, who they're so funny. I really love their podcast, Grocery Girls, and it's like one of their earliest podcasts, and they were talking about a sock ruler. So I'll get it out of the bag. So basically when you knit socks, you have to use your tape measure, and it's sort of like a bit of a guess really from the heel to the toe, because you've sort of got to stretch the foot out before you start doing, I mean not that, from the heel to where the toe begins, where you start decreasing, so you've got to sort of stretch it out a bit and measure it, and it's always a bit, have I got that right? But anyway, some genius came up with this, which is a sock ruler. So what you do is, I don't even have a sock to use. You put your sock, so even if you're knitting top down or bottom up, it doesn't matter. You put your sock in it. So say if I was knitting top down, I'd thread the sock through, and then I'd go to like 2 inches before whatever size I want my sock to be, whatever inches it is. And then I'll know where I can start decreasing for the toe. It's just such an ingenious little tool. And I got it from the Sock Ruler place. That's their card. And it's the Sock Ruler, no, www.sockruler.com. And yeah, if you're knitting a lot of socks, it's such a handy little thing to have. And it's obviously just like a ruler. So it's great. And you could actually just write on the side, you know, your foot size and where to start decreasing for the toe, or where you need to start doing the heel if you're doing toe up. Or, you know, people who you regularly knit socks for, you can actually put their size, you can write it on the ruler so you always know. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So that came from America. And yeah, it was, postage was nothing because it just came in a little envelope. So of course I'll link this in the show notes if you're interested in having a look. Oh, and here we are. There's a little diagram. So that's toe up. Oh, and also, yeah, measures the length of the top as well. So if you want, you know, a certain length leg before you do the heel flap, then you can measure it on the ruler as well. So yeah, it's great. So it says on the back, for cuff down knitting, the sock ruler will measure length of cuff, distance from top of cuff to start of heel, and distance from finished heel to start of decrease for toe. And then if you're doing toe up, it will measure the distance from the toe to the start of the heel, distance from the finished heel to the start of the cuff, and the length of the cuff. So it's very, very handy. So yeah, thought that was really cool. Now, finds, Ravelry finds. Been a couple of patterns that have cropped up during the past couple of weeks. One of them, I actually meant to mention this last podcast, but I just somehow forgot. I haven't even got it open. Oops. I actually reposted this today on Instagram, someone who test knitted this pattern. It's the Asana wrap by Amber O'Brien. And I've seen so many of these wraps on Instagram and Ravelry, and they are just stunning. So it's basically tapered sides and then one long wrap, so you can wrap it around like a scarf, or you can wear it, yeah, like a wrap over your, just over your shoulders. I'll get a bigger picture. So it's basically garter stripes. Oop. Garter stripes and a lace pattern. And yeah, I really, really like it. I've seen so many of them that are just so lovely. I really want to knit one. So yes, it's Amber O'Brien. She's an Australian designer, and she's got like a gazillion shawls that are beautiful. Oh, she says works sideways on the bias. It includes both written and charted instructions, which is great. And the sample that she knit hers in is Hedgehog Fibres and Madeline-Tosh. And yeah, really lovely. The next pattern that came up, which I know a lot of people have mentioned this one, is the Rhapsody in Cables by Joji Locatelli. And as you know, I'm a big fan of Joji's and her patterns. And it's a cable and lace pattern, and she says in her description that it's a different type of construction. So her construction for her jumpers and cardigans and things like that are really, really nice to knit. It is a bit more on the advanced side, so if you're new to knitting sweaters and cardigans, it might be a little bit difficult to kind of wrap your head around what's happening. But if you're comfortable with construction of jumpers and cardigans, then it just adds another level. It's really, really nice. So it's a bigger sweater, so positive ease, and yeah, it's just really, really nice. It might be a little bit too long for me. I would probably crop the length a bit. That's it there. Just personal preference. But yes, I would really like one of these. Be really nice to wear in winter. I wonder what yarn. So she used Primrose Yarn. Primrose Yarn Co. Duchess is the name of the base, and it's a worsted. So yeah, it's really, really nice. The next one that I came across is a Tanis Fibre Arts pattern, and Tanis has lovely yarns. Tanis Lavelli, I think that's how you pronounce her name, I hope it is. So it's a top-down sweater, just waiting for the picture to load, and she's got two different sort of variations. It's so lovely. So the one on the right is a zero ease, so tighter fit and a little bit more cropped, and the one on the left is positive ease and obviously longer. And yeah, I just really, really like it. She uses short rows for that V-neck. And what else was there? It's knit on the bias and in the round, obviously. So quite a few things going on there. She used her yarn, which is the Tanis Fibre Arts Pure Wash DK. And I love the colours that she's chosen. They're just, yeah, just lovely, my kind of colours. And you can, of course, you know, instead of using all of those colours, you could just choose maybe 3 colours, have the main colour in the body, and then have the other 2 striping. So there's lots of things you can do. I also really like the V-neck. I haven't really knitted many V-neck cardigans or jumpers, and they do actually suit my body type a lot better than the rounded neck. So yeah, I might just have to cast one of these on. So yeah, that was that one. And the last one that came up this week is Homestead Shawl by Mandarins, and I'll get the picture up. I mean, hello. Her pictures, her Instagram account is gorgeous, her patterns are lovely, her pictures are just stunning, and she's just so lovely too. So that's it there. So it's a triangular shaped shawl, and it's an Aran weight. So she used Bar Ram U, Aran, Dovestone Natural Aran, and it is, yes, triangular shaped, and she has an eyelet pattern that runs through it as well as a braid, which I've knitted a Latvian braid once, and I found that quite difficult. I got quite tangled in it, but this isn't a Latvian braid, this is something else. So it'd be interesting to knit this just for the technique of trying the braid, and hopefully you can see that. So you can see the eyelet on top and then the braid down the bottom. And yeah, I really like it. It's just plain simple shawl with just a little something, which is perfect. And of course, Aran weight yarn, I mean, you could knit this and it would be over very easily. She said the size is adjustable as well, so it must be one of those ones that you can just keep knitting until you run out of yarn, kind of like the Martina Bem patterns. And yeah, as she said, she has a written post and a video to help you with the braid. Yeah, so that's it. So it's Mandarin Homestead. So that's it really for the podcast. I was trying to think if there's anything that's been happening just in general, apart from the heat. Oh, I did actually go and have a skin check done last week. Both Paul and I went and had skin checks done at the skin clinic, which is, if you're living in Australia, melanoma rates are really high, and it's got a lot to do with the fact that the ozone hole is right near us, and we get quite a lot of UV light that comes through, more so than pretty much anywhere else in the world. And Southern Hemisphere people also have brighter and higher levels of UV anyway, so they do recommend that you go for skin checks here in Australia. I'm not sure if they're so full on about it anywhere else in the world, but they're really full on about it here in Australia, that you go and get your skin checked once a year. And I've been really bad. I haven't ever had a skin check. And it wasn't until last year my uncle was diagnosed with melanoma, and he was very lucky. He was in stage 3, so it was really bad. But he had it removed, and he had surgery and chemotherapy and all the rest of it, and he was very lucky, he pulled through. So we went to have our skins checked and everything was fine. I did have a little mole thing taken off. It wasn't sent away, it was just an ugly little mole on my stomach, so I had that taken off. But yeah, what else? I think that's really it. I mean, I haven't been doing much. Just been relaxing, knitting. Work has been really busy, and it's been, I can't tell you how hot it is at work, particularly out in the dye area. I should actually try and get a little bit of footage of the studio just out the back where I do the dyeing. I actually was watching, I can't remember who it was, on Instagram. It was a dyer in France, and they had a setup where they were just doing a live feed while they were doing their speckle dyed, which was really interesting to watch. And their studio, even though it was small, it was really well set up and really nice. I think, you know, dyers are pretty secretive when it comes to their setup, which, I mean, that's fine. I understand why, but it would be interesting just to have a little glimpse. So I might do that. I might do a little film and put it at the end of the podcast one day. So yes, just been really hot there, and we have, like, in the studio, you walk through the front door and we have a big open space which is meant to be a showroom, which I am eventually hoping to kind of set up as some sort of shop. I just really have not had the time to do it, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it, because there's Paul and I, and that's it. There's only the two of us that work there. So we might have to hire a third person to come in and man the shop for a couple of days a week, because we can't have the shop open all the time. It's just not, it just can't be done. So maybe have it open, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something. So that's an idea. Anyway, so you walk in and there's a big show, or not big, it's moderate sized kind of showroom, and then off to the left hand side you have another room, like a door going into another room, which is the office, and then there's a door that goes straight out the back, and then there's this huge big room in the middle, and that's the shipping room. So we have a big bench set up where we do all the shipping. Paul does all the shipping, and that's where we store all the yarn. So the front room, office, and the middle room all have air conditioners, which is just bliss, because in heat like this you really need it. And the actual place itself is it's like a 3-story shed. It's like just one of those big industrial sheds, but it's been decked out into office spaces and a showroom, so that's lucky. But then if you keep walking right out the back, that's where I do the dyeing, and there's no air conditioning out there. It's the roof is really high. It's like I said, it's about 3 stories high, and it's just tin. So out the back in the middle of summer, it's so hot, and of course you're standing over boiling hot water. So I try and do as much dyeing as I can do in 2 days, and I do a lot. I get in there as early as I can, and I just pump out colorways. This is in summer. So I can get it done really quickly, and then so Monday, Tuesday I do a hell of a lot of dyeing, and then Wednesday I do photographs and I set up the update and I do the email and all that sort of stuff, and then Thursday it's just I do design work, which is at home, and then Friday we usually have off. So yeah, so that's sort of how I've managed it, or we've managed it for summer. Winter's different, of course. Dyeing is really nice in winter, because, you know, you're cold and you're standing over hot pots, and it's quite nice, but not in summer. And particularly here, because the humidity here is just intense. I mean, yesterday at the knitting meetup, we were sitting there at the cafe, and a lot of places around here don't have air conditioning, which is really interesting. I mean, it's subtropical. But they have ceiling fans, which we have throughout the whole house. We don't have air conditioning here, just ceiling fans, and we've recently just bought a nice fan. So we're all just sitting there knitting and sweating. It was really full on, it's just so hot. But yes, anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. And then this coming week, we're heading down to my parents' place, who live in Foster. It's my brother's birthday, and also my brother and his partner and their kids have just come back from Chile and Argentina. They went there for a holiday, so they have you know, photos, and they want to tell us all about it, which will be really interesting. And yeah, so I am going to finish up and going to go and have a nice cold drink of water and wait for my hubby to come home, and then we're going to head to the beach. and then I plan to do heaps of knitting after that. So I hope you're all well. Like I said, please, if you haven't already, come over to the Ravelry group. That's Skein. Of course, I'll link it. Come and say hi. You know, if you see me on Instagram, you know, friend me, follow me, whatever. Same on Ravelry. It's always nice to hear from viewers, and of course, like, I'm on YouTube as well, so if you want to comment there, I get the notifications, so I'll see your comments. So yes, have a lovely couple of weeks, and I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, happy knitting and bye!